Hi, this is Trey Pastor. I'm going to give my review of Wonder Woman 1984, and this review is going to have spoilers in it. Okay, I just did a review without spoilers in it, but this review is going to have spoilers in it. Okay, this movie takes place in the 80s. Diana Prince, aka Gail Gadot, she's working in in Washington in this museum. They take care of artifacts. She works there with Barbara Minerva, aka Kristen Wiig, who of course becomes Cheetah later on, and Kristen Wiig's character, of course, is Barbara Minerva's kind of nerdy, and she gets ignored by everyone. Typical kind of nerdy thing. So you can kind of see where this is going with her character once she gets a little power and stuff. And of course, Steve Trevor, Chris Pine is in this as well. Now, the way they bring him back, okay, which is, like I said, you've seen the trailer, and Pedro Pascal, who plays Maxwell Lord, he plays this kind of a cheesy businessman who's kind of on his last legs and stuff. He kind of overextended himself. I think they even mentioned in the movie that he's the guy who invested in him calls it a Ponzi scheme, okay, and he's kind of on his last legs. But he's been looking for this certain artifact. I forgot what they call it exactly, but it's supposed to be an artifact which grants you wishes. But it's sort of like monkey's paw, like you wish for something, but then it kind of takes something away. So it's kind of a double-edged sword thing, when you wish for something, but there's a catch to it, okay. So he kind of ingratiates himself as he presents himself as a rich businessman who's going to donate to the museum. So they give him a tour, and he kind of steals the steals the stone, the wishing stone, I guess you'd call it, and starts creating basically havoc, because he literally starts giving himself wish, other people. He literally wishes himself to become the wishing stone itself. He kind of he has something, and he makes his wish that he becomes the actual wishing stone. So he has to touch people and let them say their wish, and then he gives them their wish, but then he gets more power. But it's also kind of killing him at the same time. So he has to keep getting more. It's sort of like I guess in a succubus in a kind of way, that he has to keep getting more and more and more power, and that he keeps wanting more power and more power, and he kind of tells people, "I'll give you your wish, but you got to give me give me anything that you got," literally. And you see him going around to he basically causes havoc all over the world by doing this, because he goes from place to place, so he goes to the Middle East and sees this guy who has all these oil fields, and basically tells him, "Listen, I'll give you," and he has a guy make a wish to get return his homelands and take the infidels out, but of course at the cost that he wants his oil wells, and it's just he goes to the president, and he wants to grant the president. I think the president wants more nukes than Russia. At the same time, he wants the president's power and all this stuff. So it's basically that. And of course, Diana, when she actually finds out that he's doing this, she of course has to stop him. And what I like in this movie, like I said, Kristen Wiig's character, she goes from nerdy to hot and stuff. And there's a really good sequence in this movie where she gets accosted in the park, and Diana has to show up, and she kicks the guys behind, and then later she sees that guy later after she's been granted this power, because her wish is that she wants to be like Diana. So literally, she didn't know, of course, at the time that Diana was Wonder Woman. So she basically gains her power, and she literally kicks the crap out of this guy. This is like, at first it's a little bit, then she keeps going further and further. She's like literally kicking the guy down the street, and it's really just insane. And I thought Kristen Wiig was really, really good at that thing, because there's a part, when she's basically kicked the guy down the block, and then one of the homeless guys that she's been, feeding, that they show you early in the movie, that she gives him meals and stuff, and he sees her, and he asks her what she's doing, and she said, I think she's something to mind your business, and then but she said it was such menace, and just walks away, which is just really chilling. Okay, and another part that I like the beginning part that you saw in they released just before the movie came out. I think the first the opening scene, but you didn't see all of the opening scene. Where you see Diana as a little kid, and she wants to get involved in a tournament and stuff. And I love the way they shoot. The way, again, that's why I say Patty Jenkins is a great director, because the way this is shot is just absolutely beautiful. And they're doing this like Olympics type tournament, and there's a big race to get from one point to the other point by shooting arrows and all this stuff, riding horses and all this stuff. And Diana's keeping up at first, and she seems to be in the lead until she kind of falls off her horse, and then she kind of tries to cheat to win. But her aunt Antopa played by Ryan Wright, kind of stops her and tells her, listen, this is not the way to win. True warriors don't cheat to win, And her mother tells her, it's not your time yet, Diana. Because she's crying and she's emotional, but she's telling her, comforting her and telling her, listen, it's not your time, but the world is not going to be ready for all the stuff that you're going to do when you get big, okay? And which I thought was just a great, and that whole opening sequence was just absolutely fantastically shot and well acted by the young actress. I think Lily Aspel, that's her name, who plays young Diana. I thought that was just a great opening sequence to to kickstart the movie off. And the way, again, like I said, Steve Trevor, the way he comes back is Diana picks up the stone and she kind of wishes, that when she's in the office with Kristen Wiig, Barbara Nerva, she tells her, she kind of wishes, that she gets her old love back. And literally, and the way they did it was nice because you thought he'd just pop up like that. But actually, when she makes the wish, Steve Trevor comes back in somebody else's body, which I thought was really good. I like the way they did that. He comes back in another body because, at this big gala that they're having, he kind of approaches Diana and he's talked to her and saying the things that they said that she can save the world, and he puts the watch in her hand and she's saying, "Who are you? Why do you know that? Why are you saying that?" And then eventually, the camera kind of pans around and then you see it is basically Chris Pine, aka Steve Trevor. And the way they did it was just so great. And he explains how he just woke up. He felt that he was away in a place somewhere else for a long time, and then he just woke up in this guy's body and stuff. And it was great. And then you see him, literally when they go back to his apartment, when he looks in the mirror, he sees the guy's face, but when Diana looks at him, she sees, of course, Steve Trevor. I thought that was really, a nice, neat way to do, to bring him back without him just coming back and being alive. And then, because the way they end it, and then this is another great emotional part to me, is when, like I said, because of Diane, because of the wishing stone and stuff, and that wish for him to come back, she starts losing her powers, and there's an emotional moment where after she has this big confrontation in the White House by trying to stop Maxwell Lord and Kristen Wiig cheated, and Barbara Minerva, she's not quite cheated yet, but she has Diana straightened. She kind of fights Diana, and she literally gets away and tells her that Diana, you can't. I'm not gonna let you. I'm not going back to the way I was, so I can't let you stop Maxwell Lord. And so Diana, after she's all beat up and bruised, her and Steve, they make their way out of the White House, and Steve is telling her, basically, listen, Diana, because the whole thing is for people to renounce their wishes and stuff. So, and she's trying to get Maxwell Lord to renounce his wish so things can go back to normal, because the world is going crazy because he's granting all these people wishes, and they're having people are wishing crazy stuff, and it's basically upsetting the world. Like I said, the Russians and the U.S. are fighting each other. The Middle East is a mess, and so they're trying to get him to renounce his wish. And of course, Kristen Wiig, Barbara Minerva won't let that happen. And so when he's leading her out of the White House, and he's telling her, "Listen, Diana, you're gonna have to renounce your wish that I come back, so you can get your power back, so you can stop." Stop Maxwell Lord and Cheetah, and she's saying, and she has a real human emotion about it. She said, "Listen, I want what I." Basically, she's saying, "Why shouldn't I have what I want?" Like she wants to be with Steve. That's what she wants, and why should she have to give it up? Okay, that's there's got to be another way. Yeah, but Steve Trevor, is kind of steadfast, and I love Chris Pine in that scene when he tells her, "Listen." He said the world is, he basically tells, you have to, you kind of, he loved what they had, but he's already gone. I thought that was just, it's a great emotional scene. It's just an emotional scene, and then it leads to that scene where you see her in the trailer, where you see her running down the street, because she gets her power back once he goes away. You see her running down the block. Picking up the speed because she's getting her power back, and you see it, throw the magic lasso in the sky, and which leads to her basically flying, and which there was a scene earlier in the movie where they steal a plane. Oh yeah, I got to tell you about that scene as well because I'm all over the place. I'm sorry about that, but I just love this movie where they're flying. They steal a plane to go look for Maxwell Lord, and Diana uses her power to make the plane invisible. So now you have the invisible plane, and I think Steve Trevor says something about flying that flying is easy. You just hold your hands out and go with the wind or something like that. He just describes it in such a way, and then when you see Diana, and eventually she literally starts flying, and that's why I say Patty Jenkins would be great, because you see her doing the Superman pose and all that stuff. So that was great. I love that. So that's why I say that Patty Jenkins would be great as Superman. I'd love to see her do a Superman movie. That part was great, and they should really let Diana fly in the next movie because Wonder Woman flies anyway. So anyway, that was great, and there was a great fight at the end, towards the end, with Diana in the armor. She had the armor of her ancient ancestors. Excuse me, sorry, I passed that wrong. Where she was and she was fighting Cheetah in that underground bunker where Maxwell Lord had went to broadcast his signal all over the world so he could grant people's their wishes on a large scale and stuff and get more power. And the fight was nice. It was a nice fight with her because when she showed up then, Kristen Wiig, she was fully, Cheetah. And I liked the design and stuff, and they were battling back and forth and stuff, and that was a cool fight. I like that fight. Okay, and then I like the way at the end where how she wraps the lasso around Maxwell Lord, and he thinks he's talking to her, but she's actually talking to everybody else, telling people to think about their wishes and things go back to the way it were, even though people had suffered, but we want the world to go back to the way it was, nice and normal, not this chaos that the world devolved into when everybody got their wishes. And I thought that was a nice way to end it. Maxwell Lord and stuff, and he finally, came to his senses and stuff. And like I said, it was that emotional moment because Maxwell Lord has a son, which he kind of basically ignores for the most of the movie. And all his son wants is to spend time with him because he loves his father. And then when all this chaos is going on, and his son runs out of he's in that tower where Maxwell Lord is, and he runs out, and he's hiding, and all he wishes for is his son. And then Maxwell Lord goes off, and they have a nice little reunion there, which really got to me because Maxwell Lord's son, I think he said something that he said, I'm not proud of you. He said, you're my dad. That's all I want. You're my dad. They said, I don't want all this other stuff. I just want you because you're my dad. And which I thought was just, that got me when he said that, when that little actor said that to him, and Pedro Pascal's reaction, that got me right here in the feels, all in the feels. Okay. Again, but this was a great movie. I don't know why they gave it a 6.8 on International Movie Database. That was ridiculous. It's not 6.8. This movie, I gave it an 8.2 in my review. I thought this movie was really good and a nice extension to the first movie. And like I said, the other Wonder Woman I love, the original Wonder Woman. No Man's Land to me is one of the best action sequences. That's up to me with Batman warehouse scene and stuff, and just great action scenes. And so I think this movie just a touch below Wonder Woman, because the Wonder Woman I absolutely loved. But I think this movie just a touch below. That's why I gave it 8.2. But this movie is fantastic. I loved it. Like I said, I watched it believe it or not, I watched it on my iPad. Okay, and it streamed perfectly. It didn't stop once at all. Okay, just beautiful. The streaming went all the way through. And I had to pause it once when my brother came to my room, and then he zoomed it and went right away. So the streaming, HBO Max, beautiful. Okay, but anyway, this movie, Patty Jenkins and Jeff Johns, I think somebody else wrote it. Great job with the story. Patty Jenkins, great job with the direction. But Gal Gadot, you are Wonder Woman. And let me just say something shallow. Gal Gadot is so beautiful. There's just so many scenes of her. Like I said, there's a scene where she's sitting talking, having lunch with Kristen Wiig, and you just see her just sitting there casual and smiling and just being nice and casual. But she's just absolutely just beautiful. She's just so naturally beautiful. And then there's a scene where she's getting emotional when she has to say goodbye to Steve Trevor again. and she basically saying, "I want what I want. What it has to be another way." And she's emotional, and I just thought she was just absolutely fantastic in that scene. That she just that was everything. So anyway, let me know what you think. This movie, I absolutely loved it. I'm definitely gonna watch it again a couple of more times. I loved it. Patty Jenkins and the Heat, and I hope you won't have to wait long for the third part in your trilogy. Hopefully, you do another movie because I think you just own the character, Patty. You just know it and understand it, and you and Gail Gadot just make magic. So I definitely want to see you in another adventure. Okay, a couple of more, even I'll take it. A couple of more. But anyway, let me know what you think of Wonder Woman 1984. Okay, I loved it. Okay, I don't know about anybody else. I thought Pedro Pascal was great as Maxwell Lord. I thought Kristen Wiig was good as Steve Trevor, and him and Gail Gadot, great chemistry as well. And again, like I said, they threw in that Easter egg of the invisible jet was great, and also that sequence of her flying was freaking awesome. That was just like everything. That reminds me. It does kind of remind me of the scene in Man of Steel where he learns how to fly the first time. This kind of does remind me of that in a way as well. And so just epic scenes where the character embraces their power and just you see them just having, and that was her Superman moment, and I loved it. Okay. Anyway, let me know what you think of Wonder Woman 1984. Like I said, I gave it an 8.2. Okay, I think it's a little bit below the original Wonder Woman, but I enjoyed it a lot. And of course, the after credit scenes. This is spoilers anyway. It was just Linda Carter, which I don't. Yeah, she wasn't in the first movie, but I like that they gave her a cameo in this one where she kind of saves a woman. Suppose about to drop on her a baby woman with a baby in a character. She catches it, and from the way they shoot it in the back, it looks like it's Gail Gadot doing it, but when she turns around, it's Linda Carter, which I thought was great. Thank you for giving Linda Carter because she a cameo in this. And I really liked it, so I definitely gonna be watching this more. Anyway, let me know what you think of this movie, Wonder Woman 1984. Let me know what you think. I have links to my social media in the description box: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I also have a link to my other channel called Views and Opinions. You check that out as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.